That's why you bring your tripod. Hey, this is Tyler with TJack Survival here with Ethan. We're out shooting some sweet bows. Look at that guy right there. Okay. All right, a little bit more about this bow, and we're gonna do a bow drill fire out here in the nasty and play with Tess. Come here, Tess. Up. There she is. All right, guys, so stay tuned. All right, guys, we are out today product testing this bow. Now, it snowed on us. This is the first snow of the season, and I am gonna take this out again later to give you some good footage of it. But just because it's snowing doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop. So while we're here, we're also gonna try out a bow drill in the nasty snow. I would call it snow or rain, but it's more snaying, we decided, because nobody knows what it really is. Really quickly on this bow, and I will give you much more details about it. This is a custom handmade bow from Italy, okay? A guy whose name is Max, and I would love to say his name correctly, but I'll have my cameraman do that.
Max Chiamati.
That name, okay? Just makes some beautiful bows. I got a hold of him on Facebook. He decided to send me a bow that I could demo and take out and shoot and show you guys how it works. There's a little bit of a close-up right there on some of the stats of the bow so that I don't have to remember everything. That's his signature. This is a 65-inch, 43-pound bow. I think that's 28-inch draw. Now, this is a longbow that's made out of, we looked at the stats earlier on this, it's redwood, not redwood.
Red elm.
Red elm, there we go. Ash.
Cherry.
And cherry. And something in the handle.
Tulipier.
Tulipier, which I think is tulip wood. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. But it's got multiple wood types in it. And then it's got buffalo horn here at the top. The coolest thing for me so far is the way that he's wrapped this string, all right? So my other bow right here, I have a little string holder which is epic and awesome, okay? I got that from Traditions Leathercraft. It works phenomenally. However, I also want to show you this way of doing it. He literally just took a piece of leather, split the tip, slipped it over the top of the end of the bow, and then wrapped it. And I was like, that's so simple and so smart and so bushcraft. So basically all that he's doing here is just, he slipped it over the top right there. Anybody can do this. Just get a piece of leather with a little split right there, slip it over the top, take it and wrap it underneath the string. Get up here where you can see that, underneath the string, and then just wrap it a bunch of times around the tip of the bow. And when you get done, just tuck it right down here in the top. And that one little piece of string, or leather strap, can hold your string. That way when you've de-strung the bow to pack it, you can put it away with that. That's really nice. And the reason why the interesting thing with YouTube is I get every kind of person. There's the seasoned professional that should be doing this instead of me. And then there's the brand new guy that's like, what's a bow? So I try to put out information for everybody. For you new guys, if you have a custom handmade bow, you should never leave it strung because a lot of things can happen to it. Depending on the way you store it, it can warp the limbs. It can lose its rigidity and lose its springiness. It all depends on what the bow is actually made of. Now, when you do string a bow, I like to use a bow stringer, which is this guy right here. And you have a small tip and a large tip. Let me get my knots out of this really quick. Okay, the small tip is on the end you're stringing. The large tip is on the other end. The reason that this happens is because this large tip on some but not all bows will cover up the string itself right there, okay? And if you're gonna string it, you have to have the large one on the one side. On the other side, you're gonna put that small tip, and then basically all I'm gonna do is step on this string and pull it right over the top. So, put my foot right there, okay? Now as I gotta make sure it's nice and tight, as I give it tension, now I can slide that down. I know a lot of people, and this is how I used to do it when I was a kid, a lot of people will bend their leg around it and connect the top. That works, but what you can do is bust your tips off and grind them up because you're essentially prying it against the ground. So I wouldn't do that if you have an option. So anyway, that's how you string the bow. That's just a little bit about the bow. And now we're gonna go and shoot it. When I first got this in the mail, I took it out in my backyard and tried it out a couple times because, you know, I just couldn't wait. And some initial thoughts I had about this is it's quiet and sharp and just really, really steady. The other thing too is the way that it shoots. I don't have a lot of arrow sloppage in the back end, which is really nice. I've got a couple of arrow types. This is a carbon frou-frou arrow, which flu. I'm calling it a frou-frou, which is a great arrow for shooting in the snow because it's only going to go so far and then it's going to drop. So it goes really fast for a short amount of time and then it drops. Plus with the judo tip on the bottom, it tends to grab and stand itself up. But I have some more traditional arrows that we can shoot through this as well. So I'll give you a couple of shots of me thumping this into some tree stumps, and then we're going to go shoot at a few things so we can find out here. Maybe I can find a grouse. We can always hope, right? Come here, Tess. Come here. Don't shoot the dog. That's bad form. Shot straight, even though it hooked up on me. Yeah! The interesting thing about this is it's got a sharp release, but it hasn't really got any hand shock, which was mind-boggling to me, because usually with a longbow you get that thump or that hand shock. I'm just not feeling it. So I get a really steady flat flight, which is nice. Not a lot of whippage in the back end. Now that's usually because I have a properly weighted arrow to bow ratio, but a large portion of that in this case is my bow. That just shot like a laser beam. All right, so this is kind of a close distance shot, but I'm in the woods, so this is about the range that I would be shooting at a rabbit. Now I've got there's two little sticks down there. I'm gonna try to shoot that second stick back. Brand new bow to me. The bow's phenomenal. My skills may not be so great, but we'll figure this out. Nice. It would have hit a rabbit, but it did snag that tree in front. So let's try this again. Hopefully you won't lose my arrow here. Hitting the same spot. It's hitting those tree limbs in the front. That one was totally me jerking it. I screwed that one up completely. It's a straight shooter. I mean, I can't really say much more than that other than it impresses me with its accuracy and its ability to throw the arrow where I'm looking. So it's a very nice reactive bow. I'm gonna shut up a little bit and let Ethan try it. He doesn't know that yet, but I'm gonna get his thoughts of this since he's a more seasoned sliver slinger than myself. All right, man. So how long you been shooting?
So
questions. I was going to shoot. What are you doing asking me questions?
So I've been shooting since I was about 18. That's when I bought my first bow. I was working in an outdoor store and got 2 bows off of a guy.
Now, you look like you're 18, so how old are you now?
I'm 24 now. So I've been shooting a little while. I didn't have a whole lot of friends at that time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of in between college and some other stuff. So I shot about 2 hours a day.
Very nice.
Not gonna say I wasn't too bad back in the day.
There you go. All right, dude. Well, stick in a stump or something. Let's see what she does.
What we can do now.
Tell me what you're aiming at.
So I was aiming just right at that tree, kind of up a little bit. You can see like on the right side there, just kind of aiming at that stump. So I'm gonna grab another one here. Let's back up just a little bit.
Okay, a couple people are probably gonna wonder about those arrows. Can you tell them what they are?
Okay, so these are, I forget the brand. They're flu arrows. They're carbon fiber. They're spined a little bit heavier than this bow. Spining meaning that the flex in them, they're a little stiff. But because the flu arrows slow them down so much and you're not shooting a long distance, it doesn't really matter. And then on the fronts, I've got what's called a judo tip. So judo tips, they're great for shooting into stumps, shooting at leaves, stuff like that. They've got these spring arms, so when they hit the ground, they don't bury themselves like a field tip, which is really nice.
Alrighty.
So let's do another one.
Same spot.
All right, do one more. Let's change it up a little bit. I'm gonna try to thread the needle a little bit here. We look to the left there, we've got some leaves. There's a lot of leaves.
Leaves everywhere. There's snow. Where's the snow? Okay, where are you shooting?
So we've got right between these two limbs, top and bottom.
Gotcha.
There's a couple leaves standing up. I'm gonna aim for the bottom leaf, see if I can thread the needle a little bit. Got it.
Nice. Okay, what's this arrow made of? Because I totally mislabeled it earlier.
Nah, you're good. So this is a Port Orford cedar arrow.
Yeah, totally what I said.
So it's spined for 50 to 55 pound bow. So it's got the right flex for this bow. It's a little stiff for this one, but this bow's shooting really well. And then I've just got a simple field tip on it. So
good to lose the arrow in the grass.
Yeah, we've got to be a little bit
leaves,
careful about where
snow.
we're shooting with this.
Nice. All right, Robin Hood, last arrow.
Okay, so this one is called shundu or lodgepole pine. They're supposed to be pretty strong. Experience has said otherwise, but these are custom made out of Ohio. And
mine was good till I shot my target and the target tipped over and snapped them all off.
Snapped it right off. Yeah,
I cried myself to sleep that night. All right.
All right, let's see what we do. It's a pretty good shooter.
All right. Would you get one? What do you think?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I did one. Heartbeat.
And heartbeat?
And a heartbeat. It's quiet, it's fast, and it's shooting right where you pointed at. And that's the important part about one of these bows, being able to pick it up after not having shot for a couple of weeks, shoot right where you're pointing it at.
Outstanding. All right, dude. Should we go make a fire?
Let's do it.
It's fire time. All right, so we figured while we're out here in the nastiness and the rain and snow that we would try the bow drill because this is the best conditions to practice something like this. I pre-created my little fire shelf here. I've got light stuff underneath, heavier stuff up top. Everything's wet. Most of that light stuff I got from underneath the big tree. If you go right underneath the pines, right against the trees, you can find dry stuff. That's what I'm trying to use. So, making a bow drill in this weather and then trying to get it to work is just a task that I would rather spend the night in a shelter and try to deal with fire tomorrow if that was my only option. But if you've already got a bow drill and you want to practice in this weather, it's still hard because it's a huge amount of humidity. It's still wet. So, as I knock my knife out, that's my little Bark River CPM 3V. It is the Little Creek. Makes for a good neck knife when you're not knocking it out of its sheath. All right. So I have this little fire bow drill kit I made a while back. I had a spindle in here when we left. If you got most of a bow drill, you can always make a spindle. That's not hard. You just got to find the center of a stem so that it's actually dry. This is my Hill People gear bag. This is the gear pack in the front, the running harness on the back, and the Tarahumara or Tarahumara bag. This is my running bag. This is what I'll put my pistol and all my gear, and I'll go trail running up here with just this kit. I've got another review coming up on my channel soon of just trail running with this, and I'm going to be using this for my winter bug outs this winter, so watch out for those further in-depth reviews. Sharpening up the tip of my little spindle so that it has less friction. The bottom part's already broken in and good to go. If you're not getting fire very fast, one thing that you can do is just trim some ledges in that bottom piece, and it will help it grip the sides a little bit better by changing the shape. You don't want to change it too much or that it falls out of its socket, but essentially what I've done is made those little ridges right there, and that helps to kind of grind it in a little bit better. To restart it, since it's already got a hole that I'm just going to jump into again.
That was quick.
It's bad to leave your bow drill in the rain on the ground like that. That's more water I got to grind through. This is my little protective glove, so if my arrow comes apart in mid-flight, it doesn't go through my hand. It's got a little Kevlar on the back of that. It's called Shooting Edge Technologies. I'll leave a link down the bottom if anyone's interested in those. I thought they're pretty cool. Keep me from blowing apart my hand, that's always a positive thing. Oh, it's grindy. That doesn't look exhausted. It feels exhausted quick. Okay, the reason I'm not freaking out right now is because if I start messing with stuff, all the carbon that just built up is gonna get blown apart. I need to let it breathe and turn into a coal. And then I'm gonna transfer the coal to the nest material. Keep it dry. Your spindle and your hearth board, above all else, keep it dry. You can do something like that, wrap some grass around the bottom of it, and will help hold it together. Now we're gonna treat this like a squirrel, right? With the baby squirrel, you don't hold it too tight or you'll crush it. You don't hold it too loose or it will get away. So it's just the right balance of too tight and too loose to get your squirrel. Okay, now there's about 10% of water in everything, naturally, even the most dry stuff. So right now I'm gonna let the heat that's coming off of that coal push the water out around it. It's called convective heating. And then a second, once it's dry in there, because the heat's pushed the water out, then I'm gonna try to ignite it. that's gonna probably choke up quick. So now just keeping it alive. So basically the nest is now gonna push the water out of the surrounding sticks and hopefully ignite them. It's all a process from one to the next to the next to the next. Okay, put my bow drill set away so I can keep it dry in my pack. There we go. All right, guys, so that has been just a simple outing. Shot the bow, made a fire, practiced some bushcraft, hiccups, practiced some bushcraft skills. I am gonna take the bow out some more. I am gonna do some more stuff like this. Ethan has a knife right here that we're gonna go demo. I wasn't able to use it. Well, he wasn't able to use it right now, but we're gonna demo that. That's a Sierra K Saker. And then there's the bush tool. That little dude right there. Wow, that little dude right there. We're gonna do that in depth in another video, but we're gonna practice it with that a little bit. I like to always use gear or have gear used before we just go demo it, because nobody cares about your first impressions.
It's pretty true, yeah.
What they want to know is how well does this stuff work in the wild.
How long does it last?
So yeah, we're gonna use it. We're gonna shoot the bow some more and film tests. Hey puppy. She's just like, I'm indifferent. All right, guys. If this has been valuable to you, please subscribe. There he is. Please share, and thanks for watching TJack Survival.